Okay, let's go. So yeah, I'm Virginia Gardner, and I'm the founder and CEO of Loowatt, and we are absolutely looking to move the world forward in terms of improving sanitation around the world with revolutionary toilet systems. So poor sanitation is a global killer. It is a problem which leads to many knock-on negative problems. 2/3 of the world and most of sub-Saharan Africa is without access to sewer toilets. The impacts on economies, human health, and also greenhouse gas emissions are significant. And so this is a problem that urgently needs solutions, and that's why we're here. So at Loowatt, we believe that to change sanitation, you need to begin with a great toilet experience and connect that with circular economy solutions that mean that you can treat waste sustainably and also protect water resources. So we're doing all of that, but it begins with a great toilet experience, which is delivered by our unique technology. We've developed a toilet which contains waste in a very small amount of polymer film using a patented sealing mechanism. And this mechanism can be built into different types of toilets. We have a home model, which is operated manually, and a portable model, which is operated electronically and includes smart data collection. And so what the toilet gives you is an odorless, waterless experience, a clean bowl for every visit. It's like a flush toilet, but without the water. And then linked to the toilet, we have a system which means that you can have circular systems for generating value from waste. And so with Loowatt, it's not just about a toilet. It is about also the system components that make all of that possible. So we have refills, which are the consumable, which goes through the system. They comprise about 1% of the waste stream. We have containment, so the toilets are regularly serviced about once weekly in a home setting and more frequently, like once daily in an event type of setting. We have then software that delivers efficiency and tracks utilization of the toilets. And then resource extraction equipment, which means that you can extract everything that goes into the toilet and put it back into circular economy systems like anaerobic digestion, which makes human waste into fuel and fertilizer. So customers love using our toilets. We've delivered more than 3,000 visits, more than 3 million visits to toilets since we started services in 2016. And the user experience is what people love about Loowatt. Our team has unique experience in sanitation. So across every vertical in the business, we've got years of toileting experience, including the finance director, commercial, and engineering. And so we're bringing a really unique skill set to this problem. We're tracking impact along the way. So through software and also a system that we've developed in terms of looking at the key performance indicators for impact, we look at waste safely managed, greenhouse gas reductions, and beneficiaries. But sanitation actually impacts all of the sustainable development goals. So it's a really great thing to focus on if what you're interested in is impact. There's a huge global market for this. So it's estimated 190 billion plus. And our way in is with portables and urban non-sewered sanitation, where there's the greatest opportunity for impact and scale. So we're partnering with service providers and selling to service providers. So we're doing that in the UK, where we have one of the largest event providers operating a Loowatt fleet. In Madagascar, where we have a business that's been scaling up over the last couple of years, now serving more than 5,000 people a day. And delivering circular economy toilets, and has also just been awarded funding to scale up its operations significantly over the next couple of years. And in South Africa, we're now replicating the Madagascar model with one of the country's largest portable providers.
1 minute warning.
So our plan for expansion is to jump on that and scale it up further by following the same partnership model, which is staged and also focused geographically where we see the greatest impact potential and growth potential. Recurring revenue is an important part of the model, and we're also going to be increasing our margins as we increase scale. So you can see the yellow is recurring revenue in here. And we're raising funding to expand our commercial team, continue building our IP portfolio, make the supply chain improvements that we need so that we can reach globally. We can see potential exit through a trade sale from 2026 onwards. This is an EIS eligible investment. So yeah, just to summarize, huge problem, patented, exciting solution, huge market opportunity, strong track record with 2.4 million revenues to date. And we're targeting 21 million turnover by 2027, and we're raising equity to get us there. So thank you very much.
Awesome, and thank you for sharing. Let me bring Yao back in so we can kind of hop onto our panel questions. So quick question that I would have while I am bringing everybody else in. How big of a carbon problem is every toilet? So what kind of impact are you guys having per toilet you install?
That's a great question. And in the target markets where we're operating, the main incumbent solution is wet latrines. And so that means that for every toilet we install, by replacing a latrine, it's estimated that you're reducing carbon by approximately 126 kilograms per person per year. There's usually about 6 users per latrine. So it's actually a pretty significant impact. Another way to look at it, which is more top down, is that they think about 3% of global methane and nitrous oxide emissions come from untreated human waste.
Interesting. And then of course there's the actual quality of life issues. I'll hand things over to I'll hand things to Yao first. Yeah, health and then education and everything that goes into that.
And waterways, water pollution.
Yeah, so I'm curious, you said this is a patented solution. What exactly are you patenting, and how does that sort of keep off other people from sort of trying to develop a similar solution?
So thank you. Yeah, that's a great question. So what we have is a system solution. So we have a toilet and we've patented the functionality of the toilet. It's very robust and proven, and that's a really important feature when it comes to toilets, I think, is simplicity and robustness. And so that element is what we've patented in the toilet itself. And then when you look at the value chain, the polymer film refills, they need to fit into the toilet. And so we've patented how those are produced and how they fit. And then if you look at the waste processing as well, we've developed unique solutions that separate human waste from the film so that the film can be treated in a range of circular economy systems and the human waste can be treated in biological systems.
Okay, and I guess my next question is sort of on the back of what you just said in terms of reutilizing or at least recycling the film. Is how are you go about to service the toilets? You mentioned that these need to be serviced regularly. Who does this? Is it a complex process?
Thank you. That's another very good question that I didn't have time to cover in the pitch. So the way the toilet works is it pulls the film down through the sealing unit into a container beneath. And so in order to service the toilet, you swap out the refill and you swap out the container. And so it's a very quick and hygienic process. You tie a knot and flush the remaining bit of refill through and swap out the container. It's like a job that you don't even need gloves on to do. And it's not smelly and there's no contact with human waste. And so, yeah, then you take the containers, you'll have a service model, hopefully operated by electric vehicles, which can take all of that waste to the resource extractor machine where it is then processed for waste to value purposes.
Okay, and how easy, I'm assuming you do this sort of through local partnerships. How easy is it to establish these local partnerships?
Yeah, so it's one of the things that we've really focused on is having a system which can be adopted by utilities in a wide range of environments. So for example, we've run pilots with utilities in the Philippines. Now we have waste processing equipment in operation in South Africa, which is operated at a utility site. And we've also operated them at utility sites and portable provider sites here in the UK. And so if you think about where we sit as a business, like we're entering the market, which has been dominated by 2 types of technology. In countries like the UK, it's chemical portable toilets and vacuum flush toilets where there's a different type of infrastructure, but there's still that regular servicing. And in emerging markets, it's generally latrines and septic tanks, which are also serviced regularly. And so those are those types of entities which are already established and servicing a toilet, but might want to add new technology to their portfolio, are the types of customers that we're selling to.
Okay, interesting. More on the business model side. So firstly, where or who is manufacturing these? Is it you, or are you sort of servicing this out? And how exactly are you making money out of it?
So manufacturing is something that we don't do in-house. We're starting with contract manufacture. We started that in early 2022 across all of our product range. And as we move forward into the future, we can look at even more sort of licensing types of models as we scale up. So yes, we do generate revenue from the sales of toilets through outsourced manufacture. And then beyond that, there's refills as well, which we can license the production of into markets where we enter. And then we have developed software that I mentioned, which is part of operating the toilets in the system, which we see mainly as an opportunity to track impact. A lot of the customers that we're seeking where there's the largest opportunity for impact are in cities that need good solutions for non-sewage sanitation. And those service providers will be reporting on metrics around beneficiaries, waste safely managed, and things like that to funders and governments. And so we want to be able to help them do that.
Okay. Okay, that's clear. One other question in terms of sort of your business model, in terms of scaling and expanding, what's next?
Well, at the moment, we're very focused on South Africa, where we see a huge market potential. And we also have a number of other potential markets in sub-Saharan Africa. We're trying not to go too wide geographically. And we've developed a pretty good understanding of what the enabling factors are for when we enter a new country, which includes the need, the regulatory framework, and also the connection between service providers, the existence of the types of customers that we need, and municipal services. And so that's where we're mainly focused. And we're also looking to scale up sales of the Zen toilets, which currently are in operation in the UK for events, and also glamping, which really highlights the quality of the experience that our service delivers. It's all about having a great toilet.
So do you have like an iPhone toilet and like an Android toilet? Like how, I don't see how you're selling.
You don't need a phone to use the toilet.
No, but in terms of having the fancy one that's actually just kind of highly priced in luxury versus the low price one that services the world.
No, the important thing to understand is that the core technology in both toilets is exactly the same. So it's the same experience in terms of that waterless flush. It's actually the same hardware presently that sits inside. It's just how it's actuated. So in the Zen toilet, it's actuated by push button, and in the home toilet, it's actuated by hand, so that it doesn't have an actual power requirement to operate the equipment. The Zen toilet has smart features, so it collects data and sends it to the cloud, while the home toilet uses a software system which is more adapted to services in cities, which we've also developed, but it's where the operators who are servicing the toilets use smartphones, and the toilets are tagged, and there's tracking, which supports basically CRM, service delivery optimization, and impact tracking.
Are people using that much kind of detailed processing in the places where these are being used? I feel like those are almost excess features.
No, like in Madagascar, where we have an operation now that's servicing more than 5,000 people a day. We use the software. We wouldn't be able to do what we're doing without the software in terms of tracking, because it manages customer payments as well. People pay a monthly fee to have the toilet at home, so it supports that. It supports disaggregated data on each home that we're servicing, so we understand who we're benefiting and how many children, how many women, et cetera. And it also supports logistics in terms of maximizing the number of collections per collector per day. So all that stuff is really important for delivering services at scale with our system.
So just maybe a strange question. You just mentioned that people pay this fee to have the toilet at home. What happens when you stop paying this fee?
So that's part of, that has to be part of the operating service model. So if people don't pay, there's a grace period, and then the toilet is owned by the servicing company. It can be removed. Okay. Effectively, they're hiring it, you could say.
I mean, you probably don't even have to remove it. You probably just have to stop servicing it. I don't think anyone's going to want that in their house after a while. One
of the features about our operation has been that we have very low customer churn rates because people love having the toilets. And I think that's because of the user experience.
What's the biggest challenge you've had then?
You know, because what we're doing is an ecosystem business, which is really a disruptive innovation, you know, and I spend a lot of time kind of reflecting on how far we've come and also how long it's taken us to get where we are now, which is at a very exciting point. I guess it's taken us time to get to the point where we have resolved solutions across the value chain that I showed earlier, and understand how to enter the target market, which is the largest and the most challenging, which is urban sanitation.
Sorry, Matt, go ahead.
No, you're good.
How are you sort of marketing or actually communicating your solution out there?
You mean in terms of just generally?
Yes. So before this pitch, this is essentially the first time I'm hearing about this. So how would I sort of go about having one of your toilets in my house if I were to live in South Africa?
You should visit our website, which is loowatt.com.
But how do people know to go there? So like
Yes,
I have
so
a
that's my
time
point.
machine in my basement. Anyone, you just have to come over to my house and find it.
Well, in South Africa, we're marketing it through, it's branded under a service name that we've developed in partnership with the partners there. And the marketing there it starts out with a combination of door-to-door, social media, customer referrals is a big one. So we get a lot of referrals from somebody has a toilet, their neighbor likes it, they get one.
Really?
And then there's also community activation events. Yeah, that's how we've been doing it in Madagascar and South Africa. In the UK, you can go to our website and get information about buying toilets.
It just seems like a really hard thing to have word of mouth on, because I don't feel like I would ever be telling my friends or family about our toilet, regardless of how awesome it was.
I find that people often talk about toilets, but maybe
I could definitely see it if you put it in like public places. So like community centers, etc. That would be phenomenal. You could probably just donate one to community centers.
Well, we do that. So in Madagascar, they have a portion of their fleet operating in portables. So they had toilets at the Africa Cup of Nations. They have toilets servicing construction sites. They have toilets servicing weddings and certain kinds of events. And that way they do get a lot of footfall. And there's also, that helps a lot to spread word of mouth for the home services as well, because somebody will use the toilet at an event and say, I liked that. And then they find out about the home service.
Okay. And then last question, I guess, on my side. No, you got to end it with a pun if you're doing this. So why should VCs give a shit? Why is this interesting?
Because we have the opportunity to reverse the race to the bottom by bringing a great solution to toilets in markets where the existing solutions just haven't been providing a good enough experience to deliver decent margins and turn around the sanitation business.
Sorry, one last question from my side, potentially interesting as well for others present. You mentioned you were raising. How much are you raising? How long is that going to take you? And just sort of general idea on fundraising at the moment.
Thank you for asking that, because we're opening a crowdfunder next week on Cedars. The target is going to be probably somewhere in the 1 to 1.5 million range to begin with. We're going to be working on closing that equity through about 6 weeks plus. And so we're raising money now. And we're looking to do the raise that's going to get us to the point of the next pivot in terms of growth and or the break-even point. That's how we put it out in our financial plan. In tandem with that, we're growing sales a lot this year.
I guess that leads to one quick follow-up question: is why do a crowdfunding campaign? Traditional investors don't like that. It's going to make it much harder to raise with VCs, because if anyone can invest, it doesn't feel exclusive.
I've heard that before. And I was speaking to somebody about a week ago from the US who said that. We did do a crowdfunding campaign in 2020 with Cedars. So this is doing the same thing that we've done again. So there's that. But also, I think what's really important for the business, hopefully for all investors, is what we do in terms of growth with the cash that we can raise. But yeah, I wouldn't like to think that we're shutting doors if we could raise all of the money that we need to. I think the important thing for us is to keep moving and grow the business.